You're very quiet this morning, Tracy. Is everything all right?
I'm okay.
Come on, love. I can tell something's bothering you.
It's what my dad said yesterday.
What's this? What's he been saying now?
Well, he's fed up. He says nothing's gone right for him round here, so he's going away.
What, moving away from Weatherfield, you mean?
That's what he said.
Well, I'll tell you something. I will believe that when it happens and not before. You know what he's trying to do, don't you? He's trying to make you feel sorry for him.
I'm going to school.
Tracy! Forgotten your dinner money. There you go, love.
Anyway, if you want to know, I do feel sorry for him.
Shocking, isn't it, Councillor? When people take a nice residential street like this and turn it into some sort of oriental bazaar.
I'm not with you.
Thin end of the wedge is that. It starts with one, and then before you know, the street's heaving with hairdressers, carpet sellers, chiropodists.
Oh, I don't know, Mr. Sugden.
No, but I do. That sign for a start, that's an eyesore.
Live and let live, Mr. Sugden.
Live and let live? What sort of an attitude is that from an elected councillor?
Dad, you know what you were saying yesterday about going away? Well, did you mean it? Because if you did, when am I going to see you?
I wasn't thinking very straight yesterday, love. I shouldn't have said that.
Does that mean you're going to stop here?
Well, I don't honestly know. But what it does mean is that before I make any decisions like that, I'll talk it over with you first and get your point of view. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
All right.
See ya.
Bye, love.
Hi, love. Have a good day.
Okay. Is there anything to eat? I'm starving.
Oh, yeah, I'll put tea on in a minute, love. Lamb chop, okay?
Well, I want something now. I'll get myself a sandwich.
You are eating your lunch, I hope.
Of course I am. Stop nagging.
Who's nagging? You see your dad today?
Yeah?
Well,
Well, what?
what did he have to say for himself?
What about?
You tell me. Emigrating to Australia, joining the Foreign Legion, whatever.
He's thinking about going. He might not.
Now, what did I tell you? It's all an act.
No, it's not. He's dead unhappy.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of it about. What I mean is, love, he says things that he knows will upset you. And then I can see you're upset, so... Well, what he's really doing is he's saying things to you to get at me. I mean, that's all this business about him moving away was about. Trying to get you all churned up so that I'd be worried about you. God, I wish he would move away. And maybe we could get on with our lives without all this turmoil.
Well, if he does go away,
Yeah?
when I'm 16, I'm going to go and live with him, because you won't be able to stop me then. I'll be able to please myself.
Tracy!
Oh, you're the last person I expected to see.
You needn't think this is a social call. It's Tracy.
Is something wrong?
I'll say there is. You keep upsetting her.
Oh, come on.
You're disturbing her, Ken. You don't see the backlash which I get every time she comes in from school. The latest is this threat of yours to take off into the distant sunset.
I simply said I was thinking of moving away, which is true.
You are tearing her apart, Ken. Is that what you want? And are you also hoping she might put the blame on me?
Oh, I see. The whole thing's a clever plot on my part.
I don't know if you're doing it on purpose or not, and I don't care. All I know is the effect it has. Just now, she announced that when she's 16, she'll be able to get away from me and move in with you.
Teenagers are always saying that sort of thing. If I'm going to get the blame every time Tracy becomes a teenager...
Just stop stirring things up between me and my daughter, Ken. And before you start, don't bother telling me she's your daughter too.
No!
Is Ken right, though, Emily? I mean, I don't want to spend the next, 3 years wondering if she's suddenly going to take off and move in with him when she's 16. Is it just an empty threat?
Oh, I'm sure it is. Gosh, 3 years. It'll seem like a lifetime. She'll be a young woman by then with her own problems and dreams. You and Ken will have taken a very back seat.
I'm not sure if I should thank you for that or not. Oh, you're right, though. I've got enough on my plate right now without worrying about the future. If she wants to let off a bit of steam, make a few threats, she could be doing something a lot worse.
What do you expect? Champion.
Can I ever go?
If you got some money.
Of course I have.
Watch this now. Pathetic.
I bet I'm as good as you.
Right, what's going on here? Come on, come on. Back to school, PDQ.
Oh, come on, sir. It's dinner break.
Back to school.
Do you make a habit of going in there at lunchtime?
No, this is the first time.
Is that true, Tracy?
Yeah.
Did Andy MacDonald take you?
No, I went on my own.
On your own? Well, where were your friends?
They all go home for the dinners.
Did you know Andy would be there? Tracy?
Yeah.
Hey, apart from being a very unsavoury place, you're too young to be frequenting amusement arcades. You're underage.
I don't frequent them.
Well, that's the danger. Kids do. For reasons beyond me, they're a big attraction, and that can lead to all sorts of trouble, like gambling, for instance.
We were only playing a game.
You were flouting the school rules and letting the school down. Not to mention yourself. Surely you can find something better to do with your time. I mean, if you can't, I can. Will you promise me you won't go there again?
Okay.
Right, well, we'll call it a one-off silly mistake. We all make them. Go on, you'll be late for your maths lesson.
You won't tell your mum, will you? Please, she'll only go on at me.
I'll not mention it. Bye.
Bye.
Deirdre? Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Dad.
Still here then? Not changed your mind again?
Afraid not. Bye then.
Bet you're no trouble at school, are you, Tracy Barlow?
Me?
Well, not only have you got all teachers' beady eyes on you, but you got your dads and all, haven't you?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Funny, isn't it? In my day, see, education was a great thing, if you could get it.
The thing is, she's bright, but, well, things like maths, for instance, she won't even try.
Well, that Steve's the same. He's a bright lad, but according to Liz, maths again. It must be the way they're taught.
Oh, remind me not to talk about teachers. It must be like talking about the devil.
Hi, Betty. We have met. I'm the man who teaches your daughter English.
Oh, yes, I remember. You're the sarcastic one.
No, not being sarcastic. It's just not easy to know how to talk to you sometimes. And I'm sorry if that's the way it came over, but I am Tracy's teacher, and I think we ought to talk.
Yeah, well, I don't. I don't care if you are Tracy's teacher.
You don't?
Well, yes. As a matter of fact, I do. I mean, you could have chosen any school in Manchester, but no, you... Just don't talk to me.
Really? You know, honestly, I think we're going to have to get over our little problem for Tracy's sake.
Little problem? The way I feel is just a little problem, is it?
Whatever, I'm not choosing my
You
words very well.
patronising, tuppeny-halfpenny, two-faced...
We can talk about me later. Let's talk about Tracy.
Oh, no, you don't. You use Tracy. You use your position at that school. You're just manipulating everything.
Why do you always have to think I'm manipulating? Can't you believe that there are reasons?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you because I've thought about this. Why are you living in this street? Why that school? Why are you here now? I'll tell you why. It's your vanity. Because you just can't bring yourself to believe that I don't want you back. You won't accept it. Well, I'll tell you what I won't accept. You using my daughter to try and get your way with me. So be told.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
We're getting quite used to it, Kenneth.
I really am. But all the same, there are things we have to talk about now.
You knock on this door again, Ken, and I'll answer you with a bread knife in my hand. Understood?
You stupid, stupid, stupid!
Catch you up. Dad? I just wanted to say thanks.
Thanks?
For not telling my mum about being part in town.
You haven't got anything to thank her for.
You didn't tell her though, did you?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I don't think she has a right to know.
Well, you didn't though, did you?
Look, Tracy.
I've got something for you. I was going to stick it through your door this morning, but I was up late. Anyway, as soon as I get my pocket money, I'll get you a present.
Thanks, love. Tracy.
Sorry, Dad, can't stop now. You won't want me being late for my history lesson, would you? I'll see you, and thanks again. I won't let you down, honest.
Bye.
Tracy? Yeah, I've just had a phone call from the school. It seems she's been wagging off lessons and going down to the amusement arcade playing the machines.
So you've not had a chance to talk to Tracy about it yet?
No, I haven't, not yet. And I am not looking forward to it. Things are difficult enough as it is. God, kids, eh? It's just one flaming thing after another. Where's it all going to end? Yes, I know I'm your counsellor, but... Yeah, all right, if you insist, I will report it. No, I'm not trying to be obstructive, Mrs. Shawcross. Merely trying to cut a few corners. Yes, okay, if you insist. Right. Bye-bye.
Hiya.
Tracy?
I'm starving. Is tea ready?
No, it isn't. I've had more important things than tea to think about.
Well, shall I go to the chicken?
You are not going anywhere until you and me have got one or two things sorted.
Is summer up?
You could say that.
Like what?
Like, what were you doing in the amusement arcade when you should have been at school? I'm waiting! And there's no point denying it because I know it's the truth.
He told you. He said he wouldn't tell you. He promised.
Who told me?
My dad, it was him, weren't it?
Your dad knew about this.
He promised he wouldn't tell you. I'll never trust him again. Never.
Tried to talk to you about it. I tried last night. You didn't want to know.
Oh, and that was an end to it, was it? You just give up. Our daughter has been skiving off school, playing the amusement arcades, and if the school hadn't taken the trouble to ring me up, I'd still know nothing about it.
You've taken the trouble to listen to me last night instead of storming off the way that you did.
You could have stopped me, pushed a note through the door, tried again, anything. I mean, what are you doing, Ken? What do you want?
I want to get our daughter straightened out.
Oh, I see. And conspiring with her, going behind my back to keep things from me, things I ought to know. That's your idea of straightening Tracy out.
It wasn't like that. You wouldn't listen. You didn't want to discuss it with me. You don't want to discuss anything with me. Well, now perhaps you will. Now perhaps you'll realise that Tracy is our daughter. Her problems concern both of us, and the only way to solve them is together.
Oh, I see. So that's what all this is about. You couldn't get to me any other way, so now you're using Tracy, putting her future on the line to get what you want. My God, Ken, I didn't think even you would sink that low, not in a million years.
It isn't like that, and you know it. Whatever the differences between you and me, we're both Tracy's parents. We both have a role to play in her life.
Yeah, well, that's just where you're wrong. Because what you've done is the height of irresponsibility in my book, for your own selfish ends. If you thought your little ploy was going to push us closer together, you couldn't be more wrong. Because I've got no intention of discussing this or anything else with you. Now just stay out of our lives.
Deirdre! Deirdre!
Go to school and you stay in school.
Yeah.
You don't miss any lessons and you certainly don't go down to that amusement arcade.
No.
I want to be proud of you. I don't want to have to tell you off because of letters I've got from the school.
I know.
Go on now, off you go. I'll see you later. Just didn't want you to think I was putting the blame on Andy for everything.
No, I didn't think
I
that.
was just that mad.
I know, and I would have been exactly the same in your shoes. Sit down and I'll put the kettle on.
I mean, when you get a letter from the school and you find out that you've been told a whole pack of lies by your own daughter, aided and abetted by your own husband in my case.
Yeah, I suppose it must be a bit awkward. I mean, with him teaching her as well.
Oh, you're not kidding. I think the main thing was the shock of realising that Tracy had lied to me. I mean, every parent likes to think their kid's more honest than everyone else's, don't they?
I did when they were her age. Anyway, have you sorted it all out now?
Well, I've talked to her. She says she's sorry. What more can I do?
Nothing, I suppose.
No, I think it was just one of those silly crazes that's been going round and she's just been daft enough to be dragged into it. Anyway, I don't want us falling out over it.
We won't do that. Though, well, do you mind if I tell you something that Andy said?
What?
Well, from the way he talked, it was more Tracy herself who'd got involved in going down to this amusement arcade. I mean, rather than a general craze involving a lot of them, her in particular.
I see.
Mind, he's capable of saying anything to keep out of trouble, is that one. I'll just match the tea.
Hiya.
Oh, no. Well, what the heck do you think? I had you ran round last night, didn't I? Now, come on, do us a favour, get lost. Go on.
I'm only watching.
Look, I said, get lost.
I can stand here and have
Oh, no, you cannot. You can come with me right now, young lady.
I haven't done anything.
You're in here, aren't you?
Yeah, but...
You remember what I said to you this morning? You remember what you promised me?
Listen, I never brought her.
Come on. It's obvious you didn't listen to a damn word I said. Let's see if you'll take any notice of your precious father.
Right. Take that to the office, Miriam, please. Now, don't forget, if you're doing PE this afternoon, you use the pavilion changing rooms, all right?
I'm sorry for interrupting. Only I thought you might be interested to know where I've just found your daughter.
Yes, look, could we just...
Or if you're not interested, I'll take her to see the head teacher.
Yes, well, of course I'm interested, but could we just go outside?
I mean, I assume it is the school's responsibility as well as the parents' where she is at dinner
I
time.
assume it is, yes. Just wait 1 minute, please.
Tell him where you were.
Where were you?
She was down at that damned amusement arcade. That's where she was.
Oh, Tracy.
Have you never had to start patrolling the town at dinner times now, or what?
No.
Well, what have I to do?
Look, this is neither the time nor the place.
Oh, yes, it is. It's just the time and the place as far as I'm concerned.
For one thing, she has a class to go to.
Oh, you do make them attend classes then, do you?
Go to your form now.
I mean, I was beginning to think nobody around here cares where she is.
And if you're late, tell Miss Bennett, I'll explain.
Yeah.
And when school's finished, you come straight home. Now, do you hear?
No, if you want to talk about this, I'll come round tonight, or you come and see me.
I'm going to see the head teacher. That's who I'm going to do my talking to.
Well, of course, I can't stop you doing that, but I think it would be more helpful if we could talk about it further.
Well, you would, yes. I mean, you always want to talk, don't you? And I know why. So you can talk your way back into that house.
Look, you condemn me if I don't take any interest in Tracy, and now you condemn me if I do. If you want to talk about it, you know where I live. There's nothing I can do about it just now. I've got a job to do, all right?
No, it's not all right.
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm afraid it has to be.
But why?
I don't know.
You promised me you wouldn't go there, that you'd stay in school, and then I'd find you there. Tell me, Tracy. I can't read your mind. Unless you tell me I don't know what you're thinking.
I'm not thinking nothing.
Do you want me to go on having rows with your dad?
You'd have rows with him anywhere.
Would I? Is that what all this is about? To get back at me because I'm not pleased that he's moved back into this street. Because I'm not pleased when he comes knocking on this door. Have it your own way.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to make us some tea. And what I do after that is my business. I just wanted to apologise for my performance this afternoon.
Oh, you were upset. I can understand that.
It won't happen again.
Did you go and see the head?
No.
Probably best.
Oh, I didn't get very far talking to Tracy. I suppose if we were to get a child psychologist in, they'd probably tell us she was making some form of protest.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I suppose, from her point of view, she's got plenty to protest about.
Well, she won't get any encouragement from me, I can promise you that.
Good.
And I'll do my best at school to see that somebody keeps an eye on her comings and goings.
And I'll do everything I can from this end.
Right. Well, I'm sure if we pull together...
Not together. No. You do your bit, and I'll do mine. Because I'll tell you this, Ken. I am not going to be blackmailed.
Blackmail?
I am not having my own daughter forcing me to take you back because it's the only way I can get her to behave.
Oh, come
And don't
on.
tell me you hadn't thought of that. Well, I'm telling you, it won't work.
I've just said I'm going to do everything I can to try to stop her.
And I'll do everything I can. Except one thing, which is having you back. And the sooner you realise that, the sooner life is going to get a lot easier for all three of us. You ready, Tracy? Get your skates on.
Well, what does it look like?
All right. There's no need to be cocky. It's that sort of attitude that got you in trouble over going to amusement arcades.
How long are you going to keep going on at me about going in that amusement arcade till I'm old and grey?
Until I'm sure you've stopped going in it.
I promised you I won't.
Yes, I know you did, love. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
What?
some good's come out of it, hasn't it? It's got you and my dad talking, even if it is only about your delinquent daughter.
Excuse me.
Why, what have you done?
Are you Dean?
That's me. And who are you?
My name's Deirdre Barlow, Councillor Barlow.
You're sending me up. You're not a counsellor.
Take it from me, I am.
I was going to ask you where were you going tonight. Let me guess. A council meeting?
Are you in charge here?
Yep.
You let anybody in, do you?
Only members with the appropriate financial status.
How old do you think some of them are?
It's hard to tell. Especially with the girls. Girls mature a lot sooner these days. Did you know that? I think it's down to all that global warming.
Those two are in school uniform.
Do you know, you're dead right there. I used to go to Weatherfield Con. I wanted to be a vet, but I went for the trial with United.
They shouldn't be in here. They're underage.
There is no age limit. You should know that, a counsellor.
But you're constantly telling us you don't let anyone under 16 in here.
You don't. See the notice?
Yeah, what does that mean?
It means The management reserve the right.
Half of this lot are under 16.
How do you know?
Have you asked them?
No.
Are you going to?
Yeah, I will. When I finish my dinner.
You should have asked them before they came in.
I didn't see them come in. I was busy. I'm responsible for all these machines, you know. And I'm not a trained mechanic either. He only comes in an emergency.
Look, I'm not interested in your damn machines. I am interested in you letting underage kids in here, wasting their time and their money.
I've said I'll ask them how old they are. No, they'll tell porkies. Kids these days.
Look, to be quite honest, I don't like your attitude. You seem to think it's some sort of joke, letting underage kids in here. Well, I don't. I'm going to put a stop to it. And my name is definitely Councillor Barlow.
I'm glad I'm not your husband.
You what?
Never said a word.
Hi, Trace. That you?
My dad's here.
Hello.
Before you take your coat off, my love, will you go to the corner shop and get me a bag of sugar, please?
Are you stopping for your tea, Dad?
No, I don't think so.
See you then.
Yeah.
I was hoping you'd help me with my homework.
I don't think that's allowed, teacher.
Dude, no.
I just thought that I'd, report.
Report?
Tracy was fine today. I bumped into her a couple of times, once at lunchtime, and she seemed, well, fine. Thought I'd let you know.
And that's it?
Well, yes.
Are you going to do this every day, Ken? Report?
If you want me to.
Even when there's nothing to report, like now?
Well, no news is good news, isn't it?
I can assume that, Ken.
I see. And what if there's bad news? You want me to tell you about that, I presume?
Of course.
Yeah.
I don't think there will be any bad news, actually. And as things stand, I can handle it. Without a report or anything else.
You really are unrelenting, aren't you, Deirdre?
All right, Mr. Creswell. Yeah, but make sure it's here by then. Okay, bye-bye.
Councillor Barlow, we meet again.
Sorry?
Phil Jennings. Mike Baldwin introduced us.
Oh, of course. I'm sorry, I was miles away. So, what brings you round these parts, then?
Well, a little chat if you've got a minute.
With me?
If it's convenient.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's Deirdre, isn't it?
Right. Though, what you could want to chat to me about, I can't imagine. Come in.
Thank you. Well, I believe you've had words with one of my managers. Arcade, by the side of the bus stop.
You've got something to do with that?
PJ Leisure owns it.
PJ Leisure, but... You.
That's right.
I see. Well, I can assure you it is more than a little misunderstanding we're talking about. We are talking about the corruption of children, Mr. Jennings. Tempting them to skive off school, to spend their money that isn't always theirs.
My managers are under strict instructions to turf out anyone who even looks under 16. There's a notice up to that effect.
What your notice says is that the management reserve the right to refuse admission, which in my book means it's open house to anyone with a few bob to spend, even if they are skiving off school to line your pockets.
It isn't like that, believe me.
I believe the evidence of my own eyes, Mr. Jennings.
All right, maybe one or two slip through the net. But I can assure you it's the policy of my company to keep kids out of my arcades.
Your arcades are blighting those children's lives. All right, it might start out as a bit of innocent fun, but it doesn't always stop there. Am I making myself clear?
Oh, crystal clear. But I'm on your side.
Oh, that is certainly not the impression I got from your manager.
Oh, Dean's young. He's immature. Wasn't exactly at the front of the queue when the brains were dished out. So, what would you like me to do?
Do you mean that?
Well, I'd hardly come round to see you if I didn't, would I? Look, I've got a business meeting in half an hour, then I'm free. Why don't you meet me down at the arcade, say around 4-ish, and we'll take it from there.
Out the pair of you now. Right, you, out. Told you before, no kids in here.
I'm not a kid.
So how old are you then?
15, nearly.
Out. Problem? Nothing I can't handle, boss.
Good lad.
She a friend of yours?
An acquaintance, I believe you two have met?
Yes, we've met. He's quite a character.
No offence, love. I didn't realise, like, you and the boss...
Forget it, Dean. How long's he been in?
Not long enough for his feet to touch the ground. I know the rules. I'll be around if you want anything.
Satisfied?
Oh, very impressive. Your timing was perfect.
Come on, you don't think I set that up, do you?
Are you saying you didn't?
What do I have to do to make you believe me? I'm on your side.
Well, you can start by amending that sign to say that anyone under 16 is definitely not welcome.
Consider it done.
And don't think that's an end to it. I'm going to be watching this place like a hawk, I promise you.
Hi.
Hey.
Listen, it's my night off tonight and Jim's going to some match with the lads. So how do you fancy a wild night on the town?
Oh, yeah, all right. I wouldn't mind a pizza.
God, there's no stopping you once you get going, is there?
Oh, there isn't. I might even follow it with a death by chocolate.
Only I thought you might be booked up by one of your many admirers.
What admirers?
Well, you've not exactly been short of male company since you became a bachelor girl again. Oh, I'm not criticising. I'm jealous.
Barlow,
That's right.
these are for you.
Oh, thank you.
No admirers, she says.
I haven't, honestly. I haven't got a clue who these are from. Well.
Put me out of my misery, then.
Phil Jennings, the wheeler dealer who owns these amusement arcades I've been so up in arms about. They're part of his leisure group.
So this is a sweetener to shut you up, is it?
He'll be lucky.
Part of his leisure group, you say? Is he married? Only asking.
Your dad's here again. Hey, what you doing with them? They're mine.
Well, in that case, they should be up in your room instead of cluttering up down here. You can get that cleared up as well tomorrow, madam. I can barely get in there for your junk.
Oh, that's not fair. I've just woke up. I'm supposed to be on my holiday.
Well, I've officially declared it half-term for mums as well. Sorry, Ken. Can't offer you a cup of tea. I'm up to my eyes.
No, that's okay. I just popped in to tell you that Tracy will be needed for hockey practice over the holes.
Oh, and Tracy's been struck dumb, has she? Can't say I'd noticed.
There's no need for sarcasm, Deirdre. I just don't want you suspecting she sloped off to her previous dodgy haunts.
Yeah, and I bet you take me there and back and all like some flipping little kid.
Dead right I will. When you show we can trust you, then you'll be treated like an adult.
Where are them from?
Our friend.
What friend?
Nobody you know, just a friend.
Well, you know your mother. Always had a fair share of fans. See you.
Goodbye.
They're gorgeous. Why'd you always say no one you know?
Because it is nobody you know. Now, look, are you going to get this lot cleared up, or is it going in the bin?
I saw them being delivered. I wondered who they were from.
Do you know she's got Mavis at that window morning till night with binoculars?
I pay her overtime for that.
Anyway, what did Ken say? Was he madly jealous?
Well, I don't know about jealous, but he was fizzing with curiosity. That'll teach him to come strolling in uninvited.
Oh, do him no harm to know that other men appreciate you, like he should have done in the first place.
Hang on. Those flowers weren't sent in that sort of spirit.
I know that. You know that. But Ken doesn't.
Liz MacDonald, you are a wicked woman.
Oh, I'd like to be. But it's not easy. I wonder if there's places you can go to learn. Right then, are we making tracks? I am not spending my night off in here.
Rita, do you fancy coming with us?
No thanks, love. I've got things to do.
Oh, all right, love.
Yeah.
I'll see you soon.
Have
Bye.
a good time.
Thank you.
Ta-ra, love.
Bye.
Hey, there's a fella knocking on your door looking for you.
Oh, what sort of fella? He wouldn't have to be rich and handsome, would he?
Hey, well, if he is, send him over the road to me.
Well, I suppose he's handsome if you like that kind of look. And if Richie's having a car same make as Adolf Hitler, taking up half its seat, I reckon he is.
Ah, so what do I owe the honour?
Hi.
You better come in.
Thanks. Well, this is what I've sent round all the arcade staff. It tells them what's what, okay?
You could have posted it.
Oh, suddenly it's not important or something. Not important enough for me to deal with personally. I thought you were telling me it was.
Fair enough. Well, if I'm going to tell you off, you better go through.
You don't believe the kids stay off school because of my arcade, do you? I mean, I used to wag it when there weren't any. It's just lucky that my arcade happens to keep them off the streets.
Lucky for you. Whose money do you think they're spending in there?
Close the arcades and they'll be on a cross somewhere shooting drugs.
And do you not think these arcade games are a drug?
Do you know, the Yanks found that the kids who scored highest on Space Invaders make the best recruits for jet pilots. No, they're not junkies.
I'm not sure that stories about jet pilots are very relevant.
Well, is this relevant? The minute someone proves to me that my business is arming the kids, I'll close the arcades. You won't have to do it, I'll do it. But nobody's proved it to me yet.
Keep going, you'll be claiming charitable status for good works among the poor.
Well, if Daddy was a duke, they'd be out shooting grouse. But they're ordinary kids. They shoot Space Invaders. What's the difference? Except that my customers don't go around killing things.
There is a difference between healthy leisure and idle distraction. And until you show some interest in the former, I will be showing a keen interest in the latter, in the form of your arcades. And if they are in any way out of line, be sure of this. I'll not rest till my council takes action. And that's all I've got to say.
And I'll tell you this. If it ever came to a fight, I don't believe I'd care to take you on. Oh, you didn't chuck him in the bin then?
I've got no objection to flowers, even if they were sent by the biggest rogue going.
Oh, I could introduce you to some real rogues in this town.
Sure you could. I don't necessarily want to meet all your friends, though.
Well, you've been a councillor. You probably know them better than I do. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean all councillors are bent. By the same token, neither is everybody in my business. Look, I'm going to go before we have a row. You have a read of that and tell me I'm not trying. You say, why don't I interest myself in healthy activity and sport? Work on the same side as the schools, right?
Just not make their job any harder is all I'm saying.
Right. Well, I've had to think about it. And sure, why not? I'm into sport. I go down the gym 3 times a week.
I'm sure you're wonderfully fit.
Oh, believe it. Do you get a lot of that?
Not often. So, what exactly are you driving at?
Well, schools have sports departments, right? Sport is leisure. I feel I could make some kind of contribution there.
Oh, well, very nice, but, what?
Yeah, well, that's where I need your help. There must be all sorts of ways of doing something. So I'll tell you what. You and I will go out, we'll have a quiet little dinner, and we'll discuss it.
Oh, I'm not sure if that's necessary. I mean, if you want to do something for the school, I'm sure you're quite capable of thinking it out for yourself.
Oh, yes, but I'd rather be guided. I mean, you're the one that started me on this path.
Well, the next step is to talk to the school.
Yes, but I've got a feeling it would be a more creative discussion with you. You care about things. So, have a think about it, and I'll call you tomorrow.
Really? You needn't bother.
All the same, I will. And you and me can set about doing good works. I'll call you.
Turned him down?
I just didn't say yes.
Why?
Sort of reflex reaction, I suppose.
Don't you fancy him?
I just didn't like the way he almost made the donation to the school conditional on me accepting his dinner invitation.
Listen, the guy fancies you. You can't blame him for trying.
Morning.
Morning.
Sorry about that. Seem to have an adverse effect on your customers.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Roberts is charging enough for the flat to cover what we might lose on the odd packet of biscuits.
I think you're right there.
So anyway, what are you doing plain truant?
Half term.
Oh, it's all right for some. Wish I had half term.
Full term for you soon, isn't it?
Come in.
Well, only if you're sure it won't damage your reputation.
My reputation is probably past repair.
Well then, we'll have to give them something concrete to talk about. Now, if you were to accept my offer for dinner tonight...
You're persistent, aren't you?
Oh, has been said.
We don't need to go to dinner to discuss the donation.
Yes, but why deny ourselves the pleasure?
Wouldn't Mrs. Jeffers be a better person to talk to?
I think I'd rather spend the evening with you.
And do you always get everything you want?
Oh, usually, but I know it's bad for me.
Then you won't be too disappointed when I refuse.
Oh, I'll be disappointed, but I wouldn't let it spoil my day.
Are you serious about the donation?
Money's already set aside, just a matter of how it's spent.
All right. What time and where?
She's here. Well, 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 you look fantastic.
Thank you.
Come and meet Cheerio. Cheerio, this is Councillor Barlow, who will have a white lady.
Gin and tonic will be fine.
Well, if you like gin, you'll love a white lady.
Well, I'll have the gin and tonic now and the Cointreau later. I'm not much of a one for mixing my drinks.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be patronising.
That's all right, no offence taken.
Here, look. I promise I won't try to translate the menu for you.
Oh, well, I don't know. I might need a bit of help there. I only got grade C for O-level languages, and that was a long time ago.
With your languages and my assumptions, this food should be an interesting experience.
I'm sure it'll be delicious.
Well, maybe we should have brought Tracy. I bet she's a dab hand at languages.
I think hockey's more in her line at the moment.
No, that's not a bad idea.
What?
Sports kit.
Sports kit?
For the school. I'm sure it must cost them a packet every year. I could donate a complete set of sports kit for all the school teams.
I'm sure they'd jump at it.
Right. I'll suggest it to the head then. You see, you did inspire me after all.
Do I go now?
Can if you want. Mr. Champagne if you do.
Oh, right. I think I'll stay.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Oh, there you go.
Thanks. I'll take it with me.
Take it where?
Round to Lindsay's. She ran me up, asked me if I wanted to go.
Oh, all right, but just tell me. Don't just disappear.
You don't tell me where you're going.
And don't be cheeky.
You went out last night without telling me where, and Auntie Emily didn't know either, because I asked her.
Last night, I was invited out to dinner.
Dave?
No, not Dave. It was Mr. Jennings, if you must know.
Him that was here?
Yeah, that's right. And the reason he asked me out was to discuss school business.
School?
Don't worry, nothing to do with you, but school, yes. Now then, is there anything else you'd like to know?
Not if it's about school, no. See ya.
See you later, love. Sit down. Would you like a cup of tea or anything?
No, thanks, I'm fine. Well, when I say fine, I'm a ruined man, really.
Yeah?
Oh, yes, and it all dates from when I met you. From that minute on, things have gone from bad to worse.
Tracy?
Yeah? How are you?
You timed
Hello.
that well, love. We just nip to the corner shop, get us a loaf of bread, any kind you like.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks, love.
I'll bet you do most of the work in this house, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, but she doesn't mind.
No one asks whether I mind or not.
So, come on, let's be hearing how I've ruined you.
Well, people used to tell me I was a hard-headed businessman, and I don't think they meant it as a compliment either. But now, they wouldn't recognise me. I've turned into a one-man charity.
What, just because you took me out to dinner?
No, that wasn't altogether charity. There was a degree of self-interest in that.
Oh, was there?
But this school stuff...
Well, that wasn't my idea.
No, but I was under your influence. That's why I had the idea. I mean, you're making me soft.
What about the school?
Well, I went to see the head. School was closed, she was in, and we had a little chat. And she was most agreeable, as well she might be.
Agreeable to what, though?
I'm going to provide... No. My company is going to provide all the school teams with a new strip. Soccer teams, hockey teams, they all get brand new, in school colours, courtesy of PJ Leisure.
Oh, very good.
Well, it is for them. What about me? No, you're having a terrible effect on me, you are. I'm going to have to be very, very careful.
Hello.
Hey, Dad.
What are you up to then?
Not much.
Me neither. I see you've got a visitor.
Something to do with school.
School?
I don't know what. My mum did say. Anyway, I'll see ya.
Yeah, right. See you then. Evening. I couldn't help noticing you had a visitor this afternoon.
Oh, could you not?
Only Trace said he called about something to do with school.
Yes, that's right.
Anything I should know about?
Not really, but I'll tell you anyway. He wants to make a donation to provide sports strip for all the teams. I've been acting as a sort of go-between, but now he's seen the head teacher and everything seems settled.
Oh, right. Hope you don't mind me asking.
No. God, why does he make me feel as if I'm lying even when I'm not?
What's the go?
Nothing. It was Anna's birthday yesterday, that's all.
What's the cause for congratulations rather than mirth?
Hey, Dad. I'm playing in the team gets it. Mary's this afternoon.
Oh, good news. You only just found out?
Well, I was a reserve, but Cheryl must have got mumps.
Oh, poor old Cheryl.
What do you mean, poor old Cheryl? It's great.
Is that what she thinks?
Hello, Tracy.
Hiya.
Fancy meeting you in a place like this. Morning.
Morning. Who's he?
I think he's called Mr. Jennings. It's that man that Mum's been doing council work with.
Oh, is he?
Look, I've got to go. I've got geography.
Yeah, okay, love. Don't be late.
Well, they're absolutely smashing. I'm terribly pleased.
Good.
I'm amazed how quickly you've got them done.
Yes, well, you played a clever game the other day. Probably without knowing it, but you did.
I did.
When I walked in here and said I wanted to donate team strip to the school, I got the feeling you thought I was a mouth and trousers merchant.
Oh.
That right?
Well, it's possible.
So, I wanted to prove you wrong.
Well, I am very impressed. This is the sort of thing I am supposed to be doing, getting sponsors from industry. So I suppose you've put me in line for a few brownie points.
Well, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Well, don't get me started on that one. I'm very grateful for your help. But for me, education, like health, should be a fundamental human right, not something which is dependent upon the patronage of people like yourself.
But you don't look it in the mouth all the same, do you?
No, I don't, do I? Anyway, I'm not on my soapbox. Thank you very much.
Well, the thanks aren't entirely all mine. You've got a good friend out there. Tracy Barlow's mother, Deirdre. Well, I see her socially from time to time. Don't know whether it was her idea or mine, but it came out of a conversation between us.
Really? I must thank her.
Oh, do. She'd like that. You know, these would suit you. Just your colour.
I don't have time for sport, Mr. Jennings.
You have time for a drink, then?
No. But thank you very much.
Hello, love. How do you get on?
We won 6-3 and I scored twice.
You didn't?
I did.
Fantastic! I should have bought you that orange juice to celebrate.
Well, give us the money then. It was 40p.
Sounds to me as if you're going to be in the team by rights next time, not just as a reserve.
Well, I should be. I'm good enough. Have you seen the new shirt?
Oh, I've heard about these. No, I haven't.
What?
PJ Leisure? What's that when it's at home?
I think it's amusement arcades.
What? You mean those damn places they've been dragging you kids out of for the last God knows how long?
Yeah. Oh, Dad, don't start, please.
Hi, love. How did you go on?
All right. My dad's here. He wants to come in.
What for?
Ask him. I'm going upstairs. Here we go again.
Well?
Do you mind if I come in?
Tracy needs a tea.
10 minutes.
Well?
I'm sorry to say this, Deirdre, but sometimes I find your actions so unbelievably unprincipled that I mean, have you even remotely considered the implications of this sponsorship business you're involved in? I mean, you are involved in it. I take it that's right.
You mean the sports shirts?
Yes, I mean the sports shirts. Kids from the age of 11 to 18 running around, plastered in adverts, for the same bloody arcades we've been trying to keep them out of. I mean, just what kind of a message do you think we're giving Tracy? We tell her these places are evil, she's got to keep out of them, but the minute we slip a hand out, we're round there cap in hand. It's monstrous.
You're telling me the sports shirts have got adverts on them?
Of course I am.
What do they say?
Tracy?
What?
Come down here a minute, will you? I mean, whatever you say, Deirdre, if we put kids in shirts with adverts on, we endorse the product. You can't escape that. I mean, that really suggests something admirable, doesn't it?
I didn't know they had adverts on them.
But you knew who you were dealing with. You knew where the money came
Well,
from.
yes, of course I did. But as far as I was concerned, it was being put to good use. It's a shame about the advert. But I'd rather the money went on something like that than on a new Mercedes or gold bath tap.
So if the money had come from gun running or crack dealing, so long as Weatherfield Comp got its hockey shirts, you wouldn't bat an eyelid.
Well, it hasn't, has it?
No, you don't understand, Tracy.
Of course I understand. You don't like amusement arcades, we all know that, don't we? Well, I do. There's nothing wrong with them. And if they're giving money to the school, then I think they're great.
I rest my case.
Come in.
You wanted 4C's English assessment?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Barlow. I'll let you have them back by the end of the week.
I hope I'm not out of order, but... Well, I have to say, I find Mr. Jennings' donation in rather bad taste, and it's not just me, I'm afraid.
Oh, really?
I mean, where's it going to end? Tobacco firms, breweries, drug barons?
Mr. Barlow, do sit down. You've been out of the job for how long?
16 years.
I'm very pleased to have you on the staff. You've settled in very well, and you've built up a very good relationship with the children. But 16 years, the job isn't the same anymore.
I'm aware of that.
No one told me 30 years ago that my career would culminate in running a business, or that I would be wooing parents with glossy brochures and promotional videos. And of course, parents and pupils are a thing of the past.
Sorry, I'm not with you.
For parents and pupils, Mr. Barlow, read clients and customers, and I don't like it any more than you do. But it's my job to keep the school open, even if it's at the expense of St. David's or Parkview. And that is why I have to go out and find money.
But in this case, wouldn't it be better to make do with the old hockey strips? It's hypocrisy to accept money from Jennings. It's people like him who encourage the youngsters to steal in order to feed his damn machines.
Well, perhaps he's trying to make amends.
But he's buying you, Mrs. Jeffers.
You really don't like him, do you?
Too darn right I don't.
Is your anger and resentment entirely objective?
How do you mean?
Well, couldn't it have something to do with the fact that Mr. Jennings is a friend of your wife?
Are you sure you don't mind?
He's going into town anyway.
Oh, it's just been one of those days, I'm afraid. Look, smashing on the rail. I'm sorry to lumber you with all my other problems.
Oh, don't apologise. That's what friends are for. Besides, how were you to know this Jennings chap had ulterior motives?
Oh, I must be as green as grass.
Well, next time you'll be on your guard.
Next time. There won't be a next time. What's the idea, Ken? What do you want?
Oh, sorry, Emily. I didn't know you were here.
I was just going anyway.
Listen, if they haven't got it in Navy, I'll have a refund.
Right.
Thanks very much, love.
Bye.
Bye. Well, I take it this isn't a social call.
You're darn right it's not. I suppose you realise you brought the whole school into disrepute.
I've done what?
I just wish you'd given the matter a little more thought before accepting his money on our behalf.
I take it you're referring to Mr. Jennings' donation.
Well, what else do you think I'm talking about? Don't you realise where most of his money comes from? School kids. Our daughter, for one. And he thinks he can give some of it away and con everybody into thinking he's Mr. Nice Guy. Well, he doesn't con me, and I'm surprised he's taken you in. But then, of course, there's more to that than meets the eye, isn't there?
What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, you're going out with him, aren't you?
Going out with him? No, I am not. But I tell you this, Ken. Even if I was, it's no business whatsoever of yours. And now I'd like you to leave, please.
I'm going. But remember this, Deirdre, you're a counsellor. People expect you to set a moral example. Can't you see that?
You've got a nerve. How dare you? What right have you got to lecture me or set immoral examples? Just go, Ken.
Oh, don't worry, I'm going.
Good.
And if you're not emotionally involved with a man, you must be pretty darn naive to fall for his tricks. You had fruit machines at the graffiti, didn't you?
Well, one of the things that kept the place going.
Haven't come across anyone called Phil Jennings, have you?
You mean him that was in here at lunchtime?
Was he with Deirdre? It's okay, I know what's going on.
Of course, fruit machines. I knew I recognised him from somewhere. His name wasn't Jennings, though, when he used to come in the graffiti. Mind you, the crowd he hung around with, I suppose all of them have changed their names by now. And faces, I shouldn't wonder.
Good morning.
What's good about it?
You haven't managed to bring to mind any more about this Jennings chap, have you?
I had other things on my mind.
fire. Ken, do you know what time it is? I'm only just up.
It's important. I wanted to catch you before Tracy got out of bed.
Yeah, any excuse to come round here, isn't it?
No, I promise you, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't important. It's about your friend Jennings.
Oh, yes? What about him?
Well, for a start, his name isn't Jennings. Well, not his real one, anyway.
Oh, what is his real name,
Well,
then?
I don't know exactly, but Alec Gilroy is quite sure it isn't Jennings.
Not Lord Lucan?
Look, I'm being serious, Deirdre. Alec Gilroy knows him from somewhere, way back, and he's quite convinced his name isn't Jennings.
That's it, is it? That's your important message?
Well, I just thought you ought to have a word of warning.
No. You came round here interfering in my life again with half a tale. A bit of prattle you picked up in the pub. My God, Ken, this is pathetic.
Look, you know the man's in a dubious line of business with his slot machines and God knows what else besides, and now there's this.
I'm sorry, if that's it, I've got a lot to do.
Well, look, I just want you to be careful, that's all.
You just don't like the man. You don't like his name written on the sports shirts, you don't like
Look, I admit, I dislike the man, but that's got nothing to do with it.
Alone, unarmed. Can I step forward one at a time?
Come in.
You're not still aerated with me about the sports shirts, are you?
No, not really. From what I can gather, the school seem happy enough, and, well, let's face it, they need all the handouts they can get, even if there were a few strings attached.
Well, nothing comes free in this life. Somebody has to pay for it, whatever it is.
Oh, I'll grant you, nothing is as simple and as straightforward as it looks. And that includes you.
You reckon I look simple? I'm hurt.
No, I reckon you're complicated. Are you?
I get the feeling all of a sudden someone's been putting the boot into my character, right?
Well, somebody mentioned that your name isn't really Jennings.
Oh, it's Jennings, all right. Cross my heart. I can even show you the deed poll certificate to prove it. It didn't always used to be Jennings. It used to be Smith. But Jennings sounds a bit smarter. I think so, anyway.
And is that why you changed it?
Partly. Seemed a good idea at the time. New start, new name. Seeing as I'd just come out of prison.
You've been in prison?
Uh-huh. Well, it's not something I shout from the rooftops. I'm not proud of it. But yes, when I was a lad, I used to be a bit naughty. I used to take things if they weren't nailed down. Then one time I gave somebody a bit of a smack for trying to stop me. I got done for it. Then I started using my head. Phil Smith was a bad lad, but Phil Jennings has got nothing to be ashamed of. Who was it put the poison in?
Well, Ken. And Alec Gilroy mentioned that he thought he'd seen you somewhere before. He's the landlord of the pub next door.
Yeah, I thought I recognised him soon as I walked in there. He used to put himself around the clubs a bit. A creepy little git.
See you, Bet. Thanks, love. Ah, the very man.
Can I get you a drink?
No, thank you. I can't stop. But I can save you a bit of trouble with your investigations on Phil Jennings.
Oh?
Yes, you were quite right. His name isn't really Jennings. He changed it from Smith when he came out of prison.
Prison? The man's a jailbird. I knew there was something about him the minute I set eyes on him.
Yeah, I must admit. You have to admire a man who's made mistakes and then admits it and manages to do something with the rest of his life. A bit different from some fellas I could mention.
That's what you think, is it?
Yes, it is.
You always had a fancy for crooks. Like that one over there.
Yes, Ken?
Bitter, Bet, please, pint.
It's ginormous. It'll go up to the moon, will that?
If not further. Now, come on, let's go before they've scoffed all the toffee apples in the parking.
Oh, who do you think's going to be supplying them?
Well, somebody's bound to have some. We can always cadge a bit.
I'll just go and get my jacket.
Oh, get my anorak while you're at it, love.
Right.
You, always been a little boy at heart.
Oh, bonfires. Oh, I love them.
Yeah, and rockets by the look of it. How much did that cost you? It must have set you back a fortune.
Don't know, I just asked the guy for 50 quid's worth of fireworks.
Oh, what do you mean there's more?
Oh, yes. And I might even let you light one if you think you can handle it.
I might manage a chrysanthemum fountain.
I'm ready.
Right, then, come on, let's go before the fire's out.
Hang on a minute.
Whoops, squad, halt.
What's up now?
The champagne. I've left it in the car. Can I bung it in your fridge?
Yeah.
Right. Trace, you hold on to that. Oh, if it goes off, for Pete's sake, let go.
He's mad, isn't he?
The only point of money is to get pleasure from it.
Oh, I'd be happy just having some.
Right, well, what have we got here? Oh, A chrysanthemum fountain, would you believe?
Can I like this one?
Well, your mum said she wanted...
No, I might make a mess of it. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Look at her face. That was very Moorish.
I could eat it all over again.
You've already eaten half of nearly 6 different dishes.
More champagne, anybody?
I will.
2 inches was too much for you, young lady. You've been going to school with a hangover as well as a bellyache. Actually, I think it's about time you were headed up those stairs.
Mother, you treat me like I'm a little kid.
No, you're a schoolgirl who said she still had some homework to do.
It's only a bit of reading.
Oh, what better place to do it than in bed?
All right.
Haven't you got something to say to Phil?
Oh, yeah. Thanks for a real time, Phil.
Oh, you're welcome. Sorry the spuds were still a bit hard. Must be losing me touch.
Oh, well, there goes one tired but happy little girl. Oh, actually, I think the same goes for me. Well, the tired bit, anyway. I'm not used to all that fresh air.
Have some more champagne, that'll revive you.
Oh, put me to sleep, you mean? Don't you think you've had enough? You know, with you having to drive home?
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. If we come to it. Cheers.
Morning. Morning. Obviously don't care, do you?
What?
Well, what do you think? Do you think I'm stupid? Do you think everybody else around here is stupid?
Oh, for
yeah, well,
goodness
I am
sake.
not stupid, and I do care, especially as my daughter's in that house.
Yes, she might well be. And she's the only one who is. I don't see what right you've got.
Oh, yeah, just parked his car, did he? Just parked his car here and went home.
Hey, what do you think you're doing, Ken?
All right, well, let's just see, shall we?
Will you get out of here? This is my house.
Oh, upstairs, is he? Didn't have time to come down for his breakfast.
Ken, there is nobody. Now, will you... Ken! Now will you be satisfied?
No. I'm sorry, love. You shouldn't be seeing any of this.
No, she shouldn't. Now will you get out of here, or do I have to call the police? Is that what I have to do to get you out of here?
So what do? Sneak him out by the back door?
Look, I have told you, Ken. There's been nobody.
And I don't believe you.
I don't care whether you believe me or not. Just stay out of my house in future.
I'll do whatever I have to do to protect my daughter.
She needs protecting from you. That's all she needs protecting from.
And what was all that at your house this morning, then?
What?
All that argy-barging with that husband of yours.
He thought I had a fella staying there, which I hadn't. And even if I had, it was none of his business. Or yours.
No.
Anyway, I'm going to see a solicitor this afternoon. Ask him to apply for a court injunction to keep Ken out the house. We'll see if that'll stop him.
Oh, hi. Come in. Come in.
I went to the staff room, but they said you weren't there.
I'm just catching up with a bit of marking, the curse of English teaching.
My mum were right, you know. There was no one staying last night.
Look, love, I'm really very, very sorry that you had to witness all that. Now, just forget about it, okay?
There were no one there, though.
Well, no, not as far as you're concerned, which I'm glad to hear.
You don't believe me, do you?
Oh, yeah, of course I believe you. It's just that, well, sometimes adults can be a lot more devious than children, a lot more cunning.
My mum's not cunning.
Well, I don't want to argue with you, love. You don't think there's anybody there? Fine.
You don't believe me though, do you?
Hey, end the conversation. Now, let's talk about something else. How's your hockey?
Okay, I'll see you.
See, no one's nicked it then?
No. I wish they had done, I can tell you.
What?
Come in. You just caught me, actually. I'm just on my way to see a solicitor.
That sounds ominous.
Well, it was your car that caused it.
Hey, if you want me to move it, all you have to do is ask.
No.
No need to get the police involved.
No, Ken saw it outside and decided that if your car was out there, you must be in here.
Ah.
So he came barging in, shouting the odds, and all of this in front of my daughter who was sitting there.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, well, I'm not having it. I'm going to get a court order. Stop him ever setting foot in this place again.
Will it, though? Hey, look, I'll give you a lift.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah, why not? No, what I mean is, you normally get a man all fired up about his wife. It takes more than a bit of paper to stop him.
What else can I do?
Buy a big dog?
I don't want a big dog.
Deirdre, if you get a court order and he breaks it, it could end up with him going to prison, you know. Are you prepared to go that far?
Yes.
Shan't say another word, then.
I believe I owe you an apology. About this morning, gather I was quite wrong. There wasn't anybody staying here, was there?
No.
So, I'm sorry.
And even if there had been, you'd no right to come charging in like that.
Well, that's really rather beside the point.
I don't think it is. I think it's very much the point.
Okay, well, I'm sorry about that as well. I'm sorry I came charging in.
Yeah, well, it's a bit late for that, isn't it? After what Tracy saw and Tracy heard, it's a bit late for apologies.